Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video I want to talk to you about another thing that I think will empower people. And I want to empower people. So this comes from observing other people and then myself in my work, and it has to do with an aspect of mind. All right, well, screw it. Let me put it in layman terms. Basically, people hold themselves back. Let's start basic. People hold themselves back. And they don't know they're doing it. Now, the intent behind this video is one of service, and it's one of wanting to have people not hold themselves back. And I also don't want to hold myself back. And I really want to serve people so that they can get something about how the mind works. That a way that the mind works that just doesn't work for being powerful, for being free, for being open, for being not withheld in life. Now, does that sound like something that's good to you? If so, please consider the video. If not, it doesn't matter. Ultimately it doesn't matter anyway, but that's another story. So now what am I talking about? It's basically try to imagine a world, where people have stuff going on that, if seen from one perspective, so let me bounce between two perspectives and see if that helps. Here's one perspective. Let me outline it for you. You're in the world. You have a past history. You say you did stuff in your life, and you say that because you did things in your life, this is the way that you are now, and this is the way you need to be in the future. Or something happened to you in the past, so now you protect yourself, and you're busily having to protect yourself because you don't want that thing to happen again. And because that happened, that means that the world is a certain way. And it happened to you. And it's not your fault that that happened to you. And because those things happened to you, whatever they are, now you are stuck having to protect yourself, having to fight the world because the world is dangerous because that happened to you in the past. This is one possible world. Sound familiar? Now imagine, so there's that world, and in this world, okay, so there's one world. Now imagine another world where did stuff happen to me? Yes. But does that mean that I am going to continue my life living out this idea? No. I'm going to live differently. Why? Because I can choose to do that. The things that happened to me do not run my life. Those are two different worlds. You see, in one world, the reactions that happen, that come to me are caused by circumstances. In the other world, I am the one that creates the circumstances or creates how I relate to the circumstances. In one world, I have no choice. In the other world, I have a choice. These are two different worlds. Tracking so far? Now, in one world, so now how do I get across to people who are stuck in this world in such a way that they unstuck themselves? Well, one, if we start at the beginning, I should ask you, do you like the world that you live in? No. Do you like having to go through life being hidden from others and constantly protecting yourself from them because they're dangerous, or because they hurt you, or because they've got malintent, or because they've got, they're going to do bad things to you. Do you like living in that world? No. All right, so then do you like living a life where you have to be locked down because if you go out, if you expand yourself out, you're going to get cut down because that's what people do. They just cut you down. Do you like living in that world? The answer is no. Right? So now, if you're in that world and you're listening to this and you're buried deep in a world like that and you really want to get out, but you have not gotten out so far and it's been 20 years, how old are you now? 16 years, 20, 30 years, 40 years. What you're doing isn't working. But then, if you're stuck in that world, and you want out, and you feel trapped, the next step from there is, do you think it's possible to change? If the answer is no, turn off the video, go have a beer, have a nice life. Doesn't matter. If you think it's possible to change, which it is, then continue. Next up from possibility, it seems, I'm creating this as I go here with you. The next step up from a possibility is, are you willing to do what it takes to make a shift in your experience? Do you think it's possible for you to shift your experience? Yes, no. No? Okay, bye-bye. Yes? All right, cool. Now, are you willing to do what it takes? If you're not willing, you will not change. I cannot help you. If you are willing, you could change. You could do something to make a shift. Okay, cool. So if we've established that baseline, you're stuck in hell, what you've done isn't working, you think it's possible to change, and you're willing, now you can actually have a snowball's chance in hell of doing something about it. Whereas if you don't have those prerequisites, there's no point. Because you're stuck, you can't do anything, it's not possible to do anything, and you're not willing to do anything. All right? So now, given all that, now what do you do? Well, first of all, recognize that if you have stuff going on, so now let's take a look at these two worlds. In one, let's take a look at a domain of mind. It's called excuses. It's the kind of stuff that they beat out of you in the military. It's the kind of stuff that doesn't fly if you're a high performer. Because excuses don't matter, action does. It's the kind of stuff that doesn't fly here in an apprenticeship program. It's the kind of stuff that everybody who's into personal growth, they get over that because they see that it doesn't work. It's not functional. This is the domain of excuses. It's the blah, blah, blah. It's the bullshit. It's the crap. And most people are full of it. I've seen plenty in myself. Now, one good place to take a look at is your relationship to an excuse, and also take a look at what excuses are. Say somebody, I heard a story about a guy that came here to train the marshal, and he was doing boxing, and he came up with some stuff. He had some stories about how good he was, and then he was shown that he was not that good. And then immediately his mind tried to gloss over that he got shown he was wrong and couldn't do it, tried to recreate the story and bandage everything up and then make an excuse for why he couldn't perform. You see, so if somebody, but then that was called out and destroyed. The excuses were destroyed. Yeah, but I could have done better. Okay, do better. He tried to do better and failed again, and so really got that the excuse doesn't work. But then you have to, so one place to start if you're going to change this kind of stuff is changing your relationship to excuses and recognize when you're doing it. This is the kicker. This is what I feel like I'm having so much trouble trying to get into if I'm speaking to you, the listener, that has this going on from your perspective, it is that you don't realize that you're full of crap. You don't realize what an excuse is. You don't realize when you're standing behind excuses. So the first and really major step I would invite you to is to start to consider when you are making crap up that keeps you less than, that keeps you disempowered. Like, for example, I get, every so often I'll see a comment somewhere here, there, Facebook, YouTube, or whatever. Say I'm doing an event, and then somebody might say, yeah, but, usually excuses follow that word, but, but I can't do it because I can't make the time. Bullshit. That is an excuse. I can't make the time. No, you can make the time, you just don't want to make the time. Yeah, but some people have to work for a living. As far as I know, everybody's got to work for a living. I work for a living. Everybody else works for a living. You see, and then that's an excuse. And okay, so then what's happening there? What's happening there? What's happening there? What's happening? What happens when that happens? What is that? Yeah, but some people work for a living is a thought. Like, okay, that means what? That means that I have to work for a living, therefore I cannot do X, Y, Z? No. Because for that mindset, that is a thought that I have. You see, where is the excuse? Where is it? Where is it? Where does it live? It's in my mind, in my head somewhere? Is there an excuse in my head? Yeah, but I can't do it because I have to work and I have bills and I have this and I have that. Okay? So in that world, there's all that thought, and then there's also action. Yes, there are bills. Not saying there's no bills. Yes, you have to work. Yes, you have to make money. And then it's like, oh, how do I get this across? How do I get this across? For every argument I can come up with to destroy the excuse, the counter argument comes in, and if it's all sewn up, then there's no way in, and I can't do anything. Okay, so if you are of that kind, and you have, you'd have to start to notice that if you say to me, and I'm working with you in this fashion, just play this out with me, who knows? You say to me something, okay, here, I'm doing something, yeah, but I can't do it because what? Oh, because you have to work. Okay, work more hours and save the money. Yeah, but I can't do that because I have kids. Find a babysitter. Yeah, but I can't find a babysitter because XYZ. Okay, call 30 babysitters. Did you call 30? Well, no, I can't because I have to eat dinner or something. You see, so that now check it out. If you have that going on, if there's somebody that doesn't buy excuses, of which I am one of those, and you bring something like that to me and I shut it down, but then you come back with another reason why you can't, and then I shut that down, and you bring another reason why you can't, and I shut that down, and you bring another reason why I can't, that's what I'm talking about. That is the mind state in action. Yeah, but. Yeah, but. Yeah, but. Yeah, but this. Yeah, but that. Yeah, but this. That is part of the mechanism. See, so if I was working with somebody in this fashion and I get a bunch of yeah buts like that, then I would say, no, just tell me you don't want to do it. Don't come to me with bullshit. And that's all bullshit. That's all, yeah, but I can't because. And the next thing that follows that because is a story, something. And that story is usually coupled with a feeling and a bunch of meaning about what it means that you have that story and that's your circumstance. And also the thought occurs, I can't do anything about it. This is the land of excuses. Now, the tricky part is, one tricky part with this is, if I come at a mind, which this is what I'm working with, is mind stuff. This is your mind we're working with. Like your object, your body doesn't care. It does things, it doesn't do things, it sleeps, it wakes up, it shits, whatever. The body doesn't care, you care. One of the problems, likely, is if I hit your mind with this stuff too much, too quickly, it's likely to shut down. Now, the shutdown can take many forms. It's basically a resistance. It's like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to give up my comfort. I don't want to enter this other world. I don't want to do this because blah, 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 blah. Or I'll just go ignorant, or I'll forget, or I'll go, ooh, what's the next thing? You see, so this is another tricky thing, and I can't do anything about that either. Except talk about it, in the hopes that some of what I'm saying will get through to people that struggle with this kind of stuff. Because, so now, here's a story. Like, for example, this guy Stuart Emery was talking, might have been Werner Erhard. One of those two guys, Stuart Emery, Werner Erhard, one of those two. There was somebody who came in, and it was probably Werner. And they were talking about how their life was so hard because they were an orphan, and they and because they were an orphan when they were younger, they felt betrayed or left out, and they had all these problems, and their life was just one problem after another, and life never gave them a break. And what did the facilitator person do? They called them out in front of people. They said, bullshit. No, that is not why your life sucks. No, that's a story. That's something you make up. That's something that you have. It's all the meaning, what it means to you. You see, they call them out. And from the outside perspective, getting called out like that, from within the perspective of the world of excuses where those are okay, it looks harsh. It looks mean. It looks like they're attacking the other person. They're shutting them down. You see, that's what it looks like from that perspective. And it's like, oh my God, why are they being so harsh? But then look at what comes of it. If the person can somehow grasp what they're doing with the story, what they're doing with the excuses, like what it does, they get what it does, and they get free. Now we have a powerhouse. We have somebody that is not dominated by past history, what happened to them. They are free to choose their life. They are free to go about doing the things they want to do. They're no longer pushed down. They're alive. They're bigger. They're more powerful, not less powerful. They're more open, not less open. They do not live with this burden anymore. That is the outcome when people get confronted and they actually get it. The outcome is not that they're hurt and belittled and smaller. No, it's the opposite. It's like taking a heavy bag and letting it go. You see, so then try to get the outcome, the possibility that is. That's a real possibility. You see, and it's hidden right within the story and the excuses and the bullshit, because the bullshit tries to perpetuate itself, which is to say, you perpetuate it. You keep it going, and you don't realize what you're doing. You see, and then some people try to get in there and free people up. They try to get them off it. Get them past it. Get them to realize what they're doing. It's like stapling your fucking hand to a piece of wood and then complaining about the pain and how you can't move around like you normally do. But you're the one holding the gun, the staple gun. So then I try to say, hey, you've got a gun in your hand and you blasted a staple into your fucking hand. What are you doing? And they say, no, let me have my staple gun. Let me keep my hand the way it is. You're threatening me. You can't do that to me. You're bad. Fine. Stay that way then. See, what am I supposed to do? See, so then if you're stuck in that world, you got to realize you're in it. And then there's this other world and this world, excuses are no longer okay. It's bullshit. It's revealed for what it is, a limitation. The world of power does not cotton to bullshit like that. You know, like, and then now in this other world, I am the one who's accountable. In the other world, circumstance happens to me. I have no choice. In this world, yes, circumstance happens, but I choose how to relate to it. In this other world, I don't choose how to relate to it. I'm just triggered. I'm stimulated. I'm automatically going to do the stuff. There's no choice in that. There's no power in that. There's just reactivity. And in this other world, I might even have the reactivity, but I don't buy it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's special. And I see it for what it is, like dragging me down. And then I work to free myself. I actively work to free myself from these limitations. And it makes a difference. And in this other world, you will have more capacity, more freedom, more power, and then you'll also probably start to see how much many other people just live in a world where they are completely stuck in their own crap pile. And they don't even realize it. Okay, so that's a downside, and that's a story that I have, which is, again, bullshit. See how that works? All right, so now I have likely probably gone off in a way that may or may not be functional for you, the listener. So some places to look, something practical, something that you can do. Notice every time you say the word because and every time you say the word but. But definitely every time you say the word but. Start to watch what comes out your mouth. Now, if you're a person that's like, yeah, but and blah, 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 check it out and try to eliminate but from your vocabulary for 2 weeks. Go ahead. See what happens. And don't say that word. Not at all. And also don't say anything about you can't. I can't do this. I can't do that. No, you could do that. Because why? Because I know you're a capable human being. You've got a body. You can do things. Tell them you won't do it. Somebody asks you to a party. If you're not going to go, don't tell them you can go, or don't, yeah, but, blah, 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 or I would go, but, da, da, da. No, just tell them, I'm not going. That'll confront you with a few little things there, you see, and you'll start to see what your mind is up to, what you're doing. This is what you need to do if you want to free yourself from this stuff, is you have to notice what's going on. You can't just sit down and not notice what's going on. And confronting yourself with language like this will start to show up what you're doing a little bit. That can help. All right? I think there's more to say about that, but that's what I've got for you for now. There's some really tricky stuff in there, and that's the other thing. Oh, okay, last thing here. One thing that can help is grasping the reality that in one world I am here, things affect me, and I am somehow affected by life. And then another world where there is no, I'm already okay. I've never not been okay. And this is my experience. And I am responsible for my experience. Now, yeah, granted, objects tend to stay the same. I can't change objects at will, but everything else is perhaps up for grabs because it's not an object. That means my emotions are not something that I have to have. My thoughts, the way that I think them, are not something that I need to think. My perspective, the way it is not necessary, which means I could change it. See, that's a different world than the one where my perspective is fixed. I am fixed a certain way. Reality is fixed that way, and I have no choice. So it's useful to get that you actually have a choice, and then do what you need to do to make those choices and change things that need to be changed if you want to change them. See, yeah. Be responsible for the pain that you're in. And no external source, not changing external circumstances is not going to change your pain. Only changing your pain changes your pain. Only changing how you relate to the world will change how you relate to the world. You can't change the world to make you feel better. People that really try to do that are like, Hitler. He had a good go. People that really have stuff where they have to control others to change how they feel, this is a slippery slope. It's not going to work. If you want to change how you feel, change how you feel. And those are different worlds, huh? Imagine that world. Different one. Okay, so that's what I have for you there. Good luck. If you have questions, let me know. Drop me a comment, email me. Come check out my website. I have stuff there. I've got a forum. And then lastly, we do very powerful workshops that happen here at the center. You're invited to come check those out and do work, but only if you're serious, because it's a serious amount of work. All right, so that's what I have for you there. I still feel like there's a few things undone. Perhaps I'll hit them in the next video. Much love. Take care. I'm Brendan Lee with theBrendanLee.com in support of consciousness and skill worldwide, which is founded by Peter Ralston. Until next time, take care.